called Protectors of the Pack. This is Alan Braslow, your host. And I have Gabriella McAllister with me. And I also have Balder McAllister. Balder, you use your last name? I'm not sure. And what we wanted to do today, we were talking about Halloween and what goes on. And I'm sure a lot of you have seen kids get scared by Halloween. And so do our pets. So we figured today would be a good day to share with you what goes through a pet's head, also some of the ignorance that's out there with people and the things that they do, which are wrong, and you really have to step up and say something to them when you see something like that happening. So, Balder, do you have anything you want to say to start off with? What do you think? I do like your scarf. He picked out his clothes. Or his outfit. In fact, Gabby, let me ask you a question. We were talking about getting Balder ready for Halloween, and I always see people buying costumes for their dogs and then going home with it, and the dog puts it on. So you were telling me you communicate really well with Balder. What's his thoughts on costumes?
In short, he's too noble for a costume. He likes the idea of being Batman because he doesn't need a costume. He's all black and he has the big ears and he can pass for that superhero. But this year, he doesn't mind kerchiefs. Full costumes bother him, so I don't do that to him and I don't force him to wear one. He'll rip it off anyway. So many people tell me, oh, my dog rips stuff off. And I said, well, that should be your clue. So we did bandanas. These are handmade. This one's Day of the Dead. He wouldn't come on camera today unless he had 3 wardrobe changes. Mm-hmm. This is what you get when you raise a dog in Hollywood in front of the camera. So this is his moment. This is not my moment. I'm just here to compliment what he's trying to give the message for Halloween and pets.
Interesting. Now, some of the other things we talked about. I mean, I love your hat. Balder seems to be okay with the hat.
I feel like a mummer.
I was sure whether a mummer or a Vic, it's the witch outfit or the mummer outfit. I'm not sure which one it was, but somehow I think they look a lot alike. But it's fun. But that's the other thing too, is when all these kids are coming to the door and they're all dressed up. I don't know how many of you have ever seen where your pets are going crazy. So some guidelines as to what we should do with the pets when we have the kids coming to the door. What do you think?
Well, it's like we originally talked about when you first interviewed, emotional literacy for pets, ELA. You've got to put yourself in their shoes within the context of their species. So yes, I have this big ostentatious witch hat on today, but see, he's 5 years old. I've shown him everything there is to see. See what I'm saying? I can't even have my moment of describing this. He's giving you a facial.
Are we having a good time? I love you too.
But I've worked with him so that hats, masks.
Obviously, it doesn't scare him.
No, but I've worked with him. Like so many people, they'll have their first dog or a dog they've rescued, and they assume, oh, the dog's going to love this holiday, and then the dog sees a hat or glasses or flashing lights in the middle of the night with kids trick-or-treating, and the dog actually wigs. So you've got to do a little prep work before Halloween to see how your dog's going to react to hats and lights and high-pierced kids screaming. That really can get a dog oversensitized. It can really get their senses going. So you want to make it a nice holiday for them too, as well as the kids, and set them up for success, because if you don't see where your dog's at, the dog can make a mistake and start to get aggressive or bite.
I was just thinking about that. I know how many times you hear the dogs bolting for the door.
Mm-hmm.
A kid's going to do the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
The dog might end up biting the child. Dog gets blamed,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all because as adults we haven't taken care of the pets.
Yeah,
it's the same thing like 4th of July. 4th of July is a scary holiday.
Right, or when a child goes to see quote-unquote Santa Claus for the first time and they start screaming because they're terrified of this person with a beard and this red outfit. The child really doesn't know what to do, and it really scares some kids. So if you do Halloween right the first time and you really take note of your dog's personality and how they handle it, they'll always be okay with the holiday. If you don't, then you could have a traumatic experience that they're never okay with things. And then you have problems with mailman, delivery men, people in hats, people in sunglasses, ball caps. So if you do this holiday right, it can be so much fun with your pet. Do it wrong, and you really have a problem on your hands.
Now we were talking about puppies especially,
Mm-hmm.
because puppies it's a totally new experience for them. I just spent a week working with dogs out in Utah and the puppies and the training, and we were talking about how, as you said, sunglasses could scare a puppy, a hat could scare a puppy or a dog, because you don't know what's their experience has been previously, and it comes with some sort of baggage.
And they're babies. So take the point of view from a baby that's never seen a human in a hat or glasses. It can be traumatic, and depending on the individual dog too, their personality, are they naturally fearful, are they confident? If they're not a naturally confident dog, it could have, especially 8 to 11 or 12 weeks, I believe it is, they can have a traumatic experience that's imprinted. And then you've really got to unwind some heavy stuff.
We're going to take a quick break. I have some questions I want to ask you and bring up about some of the things that people do and how we have to educate the people side of this as well. But we'll get to that. This is Pet Patrol, Protector of the Pack. As you can see, Balder would prefer stage center. I agree. We will be back as soon as he's done cleaning my face, and you folks have got a chance to see a few of our commercials.
Sub some sizzle. This is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Simply Gents, located in Marlton, New Jersey, takes care of all your grooming needs, including haircuts, straight razor shaves, massages, facial, manicures, pedicures, and waxing. To find more information or book an appointment, visit us online at www.simplygents.com. The secret weapon of a well-groomed man, Simply Gents.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to make a really great sub, this is what we do. It's what we've been doing. It's what we've always done. It's what we'll always do. So what are you doing? Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
Today's show was brought to you by Alicia Kelly of White Horse RV Center in Williamstown, New Jersey. Alicia is your RV expert. Contact Alicia at whitehorserv.com or give her a call at 856-262-1717, extension 203. When you think of RV, think Alicia Kelly.
Today's show has been sponsored by Farmers Insurance in Voorhees, New Jersey. To protect your assets and the people you love, call Mike Skoranek, your local Farmers Insurance agent, at 856-336-2553.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Welcome back to Pet Patrol, Protectors of the Pack. This is Alan Braslow, and again, my buddy Balder, who just had his costume change, and his servant, Gabrielle. So, yeah, we were just talking, too. Some of the other things about Halloween and what happens and things that need to be considered. And you were talking about there are people who are Satanists, who are Wiccans, who are wannabes, and some of the things, what really happens in each of these groups and where we have to be careful.
You know, there's just such a misunderstanding about witchcraft and Wiccans, and while I am not a Wiccan and I don't practice witchcraft, I have friends that do, and they're wonderful people. And you know, the thing is that people that practice the craft practice so very peacefully, and the ones that I know, and in harmony with nature. They work with the elements. They work with animals. Animals help. They're helpers. They are seen as our friends. And so we love them, or Wiccans love them as much as we love our pets. So, and then the difference is around Halloween time, you get these people that think part of Halloween ritual is dark and torturing animals, doing sacrifices, and you know, that gets into the whole satanic cult stuff, which you hear about in the Pine Barrens. You know, every few years you get a story on it, and you see animals that have been really tortured and hurt. And you know, these people think, oh, we're doing something Halloween, and they're using Halloween as the event to be destructive and negative, and it's just so wrong and false and not true.
So if you think about it, parents should be paying attention, especially as their kids get a little bit older, because that's when they seem to get a little unhinged and off the deep end and do things that make no sense whatsoever. I'm talking that early teenager to middle to late teenager stage. Parents, you should be looking at your kids. You should be following and seeing what they're saying. What are their real plans when they're going out on Halloween? Hear if they're talking about doing things with animals that makes no sense, and prevent it.
Like a neighbor's animal. If somebody has a black dog or a black cat or a big dog that looks like a wolf, like Baldor, which anybody that mistakes Baldor for a wolf obviously doesn't know what a wolf looks like. But yes, you do have kids that think it's fun to chase and scare and tease from the fence line and wreak havoc on pets, even horses. Weird things happen in fields. And, you know, people think it's fun to hit a horse with a paintball or a cow or cow tipping. Any of these things, especially around Mischief Night, you know, the night before Halloween, and the days preceding, youngsters that are just thinking, oh, it's just a dog or it's just a cat, or they'll chase a black cat. You can scare an animal half to death. I mean, you can scare an animal into the street and cause an animal to get hit by a car. It's really not okay. I know, unfortunately, in our society, when they're teaching kids how to drive, they first tell you run over Fluffy at any cost. That's one of the things teachers will say nowadays. And, you know, we have animals dead by the side of the road, and it's of no consequence to anyone, but an animal lost their life. So, you know, you don't want to scare somebody's family pet because you think it's a Halloween prank or you think it's fun.
Well, I was thinking when you said that, how many people I see where they will take their dog out trick-or-treating. The dog really doesn't want to go trick-or-treating. Not, you know, you may have that rare dog that enjoys seeing all these strange-looking sights and people going boo and scaring them. But this is the time when you really have to be careful, and you have to take care of your pets and make sure that nothing happens to them.
Yeah, you have to be mindful. You have to know who your dog or who your cat is. What they like, what they don't like. I mean, Baldor's bomb-proof, but that took a lot of work. Not every dog is like Baldor. So yes, there may be some family pets that love to go trick-or-treating with their kids and really enjoy it, but then there are other dogs that are just going to be terrified and cause a problem and pull and yank and get antsy and not understand strange homes, or you trick-or-treat at a home where there's another pet and they open the door and there's another big dog, and then you've got a problem, or could have a problem. So yes, it's really our responsibility as the people to set our pets up to succeed. And in order to do that, you need to have a connected relationship with your pet so that you really know who they are as an individual, to make them have the best life possible. It could be that the best life possible for your pet on Halloween is to put them in a separate bedroom with the TV or music going so they don't constantly hear the doorbell. They're not getting scared by all the costumes. Your dog may just not be able to handle it. So the kindest, nicest thing to do for your dog is to put your dog in a room that's away from everything.
Interesting.
But, you know, Baldor loves to pick pumpkins, so.
Yeah, you were talking, that's right, you were talking about that earlier. So he does the pumpkin picking.
Yes.
Does he do pumpkin chucking?
No, that's for his servant to do.
So
That's for his servant woman to do.
So how does so what's the ritual with the two of you when you go pumpkin hunting.
I love Halloween. I always had a great time as a kid. I actually trick-or-treated until I was in college. And we used to get comments about, we were the largest trick-or-treaters they'd ever seen, but we had so much fun. So I take him with me since he was a baby, and he loved it. So we pick pumpkins together. He knows exactly what it is. He'll show me what pumpkins he likes. I will grab them. He has seen me carve pumpkins and make faces. He's seen me put the candles in. We've watched the pumpkins start to glow as night falls. And you can see the look on his face like, oh, that's what Mom was doing, carving the pumpkins to make a decoration. He does understand the concept. So he loves the whole thing. He watches me do it. He'll give his input to the face that I'm making on the pumpkin sometimes, even. He'll want a pirate. Or one year he asked me to do an outline of him, the silhouette of his face. And that was the pumpkin that stayed lit the longest throughout the evening.
Now, has he ever rejected a pumpkin that you've done? To the point of where the pumpkin did not survive?
No. No, he'll say, not one of your best, Mom. And he'll turn his tail. I'll get his butt.
Now, and Balder, I apologize for bringing this up, but Arrow, who is your Mustang, how does Arrow the horse handle the holidays?
He's not real good. He's so suspicious because he is a rescue and he was subjected to so much abuse. So anything that is out of the ordinary would kind of bother him. Though I do have to say, last year Christmas, the trainer that we work with at Oak Willow, Allison Schiffer, who's just wonderful, she put a Santa hat and a wreath around Arrow. And he loved it, and she took a picture of him for me for Christmas. So she actually got that done with him, and he dug it. So I'm thinking that Halloween will kind of be better for him this year because he understood wearing a get-up for Christmas. So I'm thinking slowly but surely, but originally, he's great with cowboy hats, he's great with glasses, he's great with helmets, because you saw my new helmet that I got, the riding helmet. It's a Western truck style helmet. I was so happy. I probably didn't say the name right. But he was okay with the helmet. He didn't spook at that because that's not my usual cowboy hat.
Interesting.
But I protect Arrow. He's a black horse at Halloween, and he's with Allison at Oak Willow, so I know that an eye is kept on him. They're now in at nights instead of, because it's cold weather. So during the summer, they're out during the night to keep them cooler. During the winter, they're out during the day. So we keep an eye on them around the Halloween season.
It's another thing, have to watch out for your pets. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be back in a couple of minutes. Again, this is Pet Patrol, Protectors of the Pack. This is our Halloween show, and we will see you shortly.
He wants you to get a bigger chair for him.
Today's show is sponsored by Hargrove Demolition, your demolition experts. Hargrove is a family-owned and operated business right here in the southern New Jersey area, bringing you 45 years of demolition expertise. Hargrove has all your demolition needs, from emergency demolition service to demolition equipment rental. Hargrove is one of the state-approved recycling facilities right here in the southern New Jersey area. No job is too big or too small for Hargrove Demolition. Contact them today at one of their 3 locations.
When it's time for Jersey Mike's to give a sub some sizzle, this is the way. The way it's always been. The way it always should be. The way it always will be. Because that's just the way it's supposed to be. Jersey Mike's. Be a sub above.
If you haven't been to Speed Raceway, what are you waiting for? You want to live fast? You want to make every second count? Then grab the family. Round up the guys. Speed Raceway is 100,000 square feet of excitement, whether you're a kid or a kid at heart. Speed Raceway is the place for endless fun all summer long. Log on to speedraceway.com or just get here now.
When we make Beyond Natural dry dog and cat foods, we start with real meat as the first ingredient. We leave out corn, wheat, and soy. And we own where our dry food is made. 100%. Can other brands say all that? For nutrition you can trust and your pet will enjoy. Does your
camera today. But the pets, when they do pass, they do look after their people. I was kind of thinking when Jin passed, I would see him. He told me how he would come back. I thought he was nuts. I'm actually writing a book about that. But basically, I started getting calls from people who didn't know that Jin had passed yet. Somebody called me from London and said, why did I see Jin sitting in my backyard underneath the tree looking at me? And this is not somebody who's a real believer in this stuff, but knew my dog well and loved the dog. And we told him, he passed away yesterday. And he said, I was staring at him, and he looked right at me. It was Jin. And then when he looked away and looked back, the dog was gone. And it's a closed backyard. Jin had a habit of, he liked to peek in the shower. He was such a peeping Tom. He did that to me ever since he was a puppy. And a friend of mine who lived up the street, who he enjoyed very much, she said, Gabby, was Jin a pervert? And I was like, what are you talking about? He was here last night. He stuck his head in the shower. And she happens to be a Wiccan. And I had never told her the story of Jin being a peeping Tom in the shower because I thought it was a little bit strange and I didn't want people to know. But she called something that no one could have called. That was Jin visiting her. So it took Jin 6 months to visit me. I was heartbroken. I had his beds out. Jin was my heart dog. And finally, after 6 months, he did show himself. And it was in his bed. I had just woken up from sleep. And there was no sunlight, but yet outlined against the mirror in what was his bed was a light outline of him. And he opened and closed his eyes and looked right at me. And I opened and closed mine a couple times and went, is that you? And he smiled a little. And I was like, where have you been? You've shown yourself to everybody but me. And he said, because you needed it too bad. You hadn't moved on. You needed to grieve and know I'm gone. And the minute I let go, he came to see me. And then 6 months later, came back as him. There's a very long story around it, but it's very interesting how he did it, but it is him.
Well, it's funny. I just got back from Utah. I was at Best Friends Animal Society. It's Sanctuary, which is in Kanab. It's between Bryce and Zion. And one of the most amazing things they have there is Angel's Rest and Angel's Landing. Angel's Rest, between Angel's Rest and Angel's Landing, there's about 4,000 pets that have been buried. And you tend to get a different feeling when you come back. So for those of you, you're hearing what Gabby is saying, and you're saying to yourself, well, who knows, I don't know. We were out there, we buried the second of my brother-in-law's dogs. It was no breeze whatsoever. I mean, the air was dead still. After the ceremony, all of a sudden, and there are chimes throughout this place, and there's 4,000 burial sites there. All of the chimes started with the one that was right near where we had buried Cowboy. as if Cowboy was coming back, same thing, and saying, "I got you covered. I'm okay. I'm with Jane," which was his other dog that's buried there, and it's a very very interesting feeling that you get, that maybe there's more than what we all claim we understand or accept. So having the dogs come back is great in different personalities. Next time you're with your dog, look your dog straight in the eye, and just sit there quietly and see if you can figure out what's going on. It's a very interesting experience. I have a rescue dog that I do that with, one of my 4, and I really think there's something she's communicating to me. We'll get through that. So, Gabby, I want to thank you. Hope you folks have enjoyed our Halloween show. Hope you've taken a little bit of seriousness with it too, about protecting your pets, making sure they're not frightened on Halloween. We can have a good time without scaring, without harming our pets. Watch out in the neighborhood to make sure that your neighbors and the kids that come through are not doing anything that's evil or stupid. It's a fun holiday. Everyone can enjoy themselves, and especially let's make sure our pets enjoy themselves. Thank you for joining us for Halloween. Again, this is Pet Patrol, Protector of the Pack. I'm Alan Braslow, your host. I will see you next time.